here's a way to see new skills in RuneScape. If they were to pitch certain skills that are already in the game now for like 15 years, now, they would never pass. Smithing would never pass. Fishing would never pass. None of this shit would pass. The only things that would pass would be like Herblore and Slay and maybe Rune Crafting.
My initial response to warding was, it feels like it should be an extension of crafting. I think if you allow them to put more into the skill, I think it could be really nice. In regards to the previous skills they've tried to get into the game, this one undoubtedly fits the game the most. It in its principle feels like it could be a skill.
I think a lot of people are jumping to conclusions with it without giving it the time of day. So warding, the first thing you need to understand about this stuff is when Jagex pitches something at Old School Reveals, it's not an entirely ironed out idea. I don't mean that in the sense of Iron Man, but it's not a perfect idea. It's a pitch. It's a new pitch. It's to give you an idea of what it would be like without it being, fully fledged. That being said, I think warding has a ton of potential. For it to have that potential, you need to give them a chance to really think through what the community wants and really develop it fully.
Warding, I like how it fits in the game. It makes complete sense to me, but I don't really care that much about it, personally. I know everyone wants a new skill. I don't want a new skill. I don't really care that much about skilling and stuff like that. And also the whole mage, tank mage defense armor, I don't want to see that in the game, personally, because mage is broken right now. It's really underpowered, so people have really high mage defense bonuses. It'll be even harder to kill people.
Will allow you to siphon energy. The tools required to create equipment include soapstones and channeling lamps. Channeling lamps are created using smithing and crafting, and soapstones come from a new resource called steatite. Once you have your materials, energy, and tools, you are ready to make some equipment.
So this new skill, if you look at it like smithing and crafting in a way, it's not quite fully there because you could do more shit with crafting. But the idea of that skill, I don't know. I don't really want a new skill in Old School unless they had something mini-game-ish like dungeoneering, because I don't really want to grind a skill. I want to go grind a mini-game. So like, can we just have a trouble brewing skill? Like, can we just make it so if you do trouble brewing, you get XP and a trouble brewing skill? I'll be there all day, bro. I don't give a shit, mate. I'm a king, I freaking paint monkeys all day or whatever the hell it is,
It's because it's so far into the game that, people are like, it feels, underwhelming. I mean, you got to keep in mind, it's just an announcement that they did. So the final dev blog will actually have a lot more stuff in than they actually mentioned. Myself, I think it would be a pretty good skill. It looks like a very slow and tedious one. I think it does fit in very nicely. And honestly, guys, look at the fucking skill tab right now. You've got skills like, fire making, which you literally just light a log, okay? That's the skill right there. So realistically, a little bit more complex. It doesn't feel like a friggin' mini game like the previous skills, so it works pretty damn well,
I think that it fits thematically very, very well in the game, in that we can craft range gear, we can craft melee gear, we cannot craft mage gear. So I think it fits thematically with that. I like how they address splashing with it. I mean, I guess it kind of works that you would take imbues out of Nightmare Zone to put them with the skill.
But both the community and the Old School team agree that it isn't an ideal home for them. Thematically, warding is the perfect fit. If warding were added to Old School, these ring imbues would move from Nightmare Zone and would become a perk of the skill. On top of imbuing existing rings, it would also be possible to create channeled rings. Rings which provide varying skilling perks with finite charges.
You guys have to understand that I think there's going to be a lot more with warding than we know about right now. They just haven't gotten all the ideas together yet, and you got to give them the chance to get there and see what the community thinks should be a part of it. I mean, one, it's been 6 years. I absolutely see and agree with the potential for a new skill, the need for there, or maybe just where a new skill would fit. Maybe not the need, but where a new skill would fit in Old School. Two, I think it can fill a lot of gaps. I think that it makes sense based on how they pitched it, that there is a huge gap there that nothing really fits there right now, and this could potentially bridge that gap.
I get what they're trying to do. They're definitely thinking let's fill in some of the gaps, right? And let's balance out the game for newer players, which is great and all. But they're only thinking of the people that are going to be coming in for mobile. The people that already have mains and have been playing this game for the last 5 years aren't really going to get a lot of value out of it. Will they do the content? Yes. You could literally make a skill where you stand in a bank, right? Bank standing, people would do that shit, right? It's not a question of is the content something people will do. It's is the content something people will do because it's enjoyable, it's fun, it's unique, it's engaging, it's everything that a skill should be.
Slayer, but for skilling. Hey Mog, your new assignment is to craft 156 black DI bodies. That would be kind of cool, actually.
Now, of course, like a lot of other people, I look at it and I think, why? You know, there's never been a single time where I wished that I could like craft some magic gear or something. Like you can already acquire all of the gear easily from other places in the game. But then if we think about like fletching, or smithing, like, I don't know, that shit probably wouldn't have passed a poll these days either, because those are like similarly useless. But a skill is not necessarily about it being completely useful. Maybe it's more about just like having another thing to grind. I don't know.
Why is everyone in the land stealing my sandpit? Can you imagine getting 99 warding? Bro, when the new skill comes out, mate, I'm going to be grinding it day one, mate. I'm not going to sleep, mate. I'm going to be like, I bet you Alfie won't sleep that day. Everyone will be grinding 99.
I think a lot of people on Reddit were getting caught up with, oh, the armor that they want to add looks shit and stuff like that.
Looking beyond existing equipment, 2 new sets of high-level mage tank armor is also being proposed as a part of warding, Bloodbark and Soulbark. The stats of these armors are not yet finalized at the time of making this video, but they will be made available in a developer blog on the Old School website in the near future.
Like I said, you know, this is a pitch. That they mentioned it on there that this is not really the armor that's going to be. This is just, you know, to give you an idea. So it's not going to be a recolored split bar. You know, they're going to actually have some designs and some dev time for it. It's not worth putting in the dev time unless they have the idea fully fledged, or at least mostly, unless they know that the community wants it, you know? You can't put in, you know, 2 weeks of dev time to design this new shit just for the community to say, no, we don't want it. Once the community says, hey, we want it, then you put that in. So that'll get better. Don't sweat that.
I don't really know what I want in a new skill. I don't want a new skill, so they have to pitch something where I'm like, you know what, mate? I want to do that. Something like dungeoneering is something like that.
Sailing. You would have rather sailing got introduced? I don't know, man. You would have preferred sailing got introduced over warding? I don't know, dude. I think I don't know, man. I didn't really, I guess, have much of an opinion on sailing. Like when they brought it, like, you know, that whole meme that they did with it. I was like down for it, I guess. So.
Yeah, we want sailing. Yeah, I'd love sailing as well, bro. But the thing is, they've done sailing in the past, and people said it felt like a minigame. So yeah.
What they can do is, you know, add these different levels along the way for different tiers of defensive magic armor. Kind of like how Splitbark is, but maybe a little bit more defense at a higher level, or a little bit more magic bonus at a higher level. They can add stuff that has some prey bonus. They can add stuff that has something else somewhere to give it different tiers. So there's a lot that could be done there, but that's only one side of warding, I think. They talked about the whole invention style bit of it as well, right? How you'd be able to break these things down for their supplies.
Finally, we have dissolving. Dissolving is the process of returning items to their base parts. This is done by using these items on a ward, much like you would when training the skill. However, no experience is gained in doing so. Instead of experience, you will have a small chance of receiving some materials and a guaranteed chance to receive a small amount of runic energy. For example, you can dissolve iron equipment for a chance of receiving iron bars and a guarantee of receiving mind energy. The higher your warding level, the more you can dissolve.
Quite obviously, we know that there's all this stuff in the game that's all alch value because there's, you know, no need for it or anything like that. And it would actually just give a lot of small things, you know, man, we don't know what they're gonna let us break down for gear or for supplies, or experience, but that would kind of give you something to do with a lot of those supplies that nowadays you fucking get it, you alch it, you drop it on the GE, you drop it on the ground because you don't even want it.
And finally, we can't have a new skill without a new skill cape. This is just our first idea for a skill cape. We would love to hear yours as well. And of course, we'd poll them all, let the community decide on which one they want.
Shit's fucked, it's fucked. Mate, he's in multi, they're in multi, barrage pile. 113's in multi. No, the infernal cape! Oh my god, Cloud, why did you do it? Cloud ran into fucking multi. Cloud, he ran into multi, what were you?
Are you kidding me? Holy! Woo! That timing!
But I'm gonna end the stream now, so thank you guys for watching and have a good night. And I'm gonna take a sip of water to end the live stream.